Hey everyone, it's Chrissy from Chrissy's Beautiful Life. Welcome back to 30 Days of Sketches 4. Today's sketch is another beautiful one from Laura Rumble. As you can tell, I really love her sketches. And today I'm going to be playing with a little bit of shimmers and some Christmas trees that I cut, turning them into banners. So you'll see that in a minute. First thing is I went ahead and I love this technique. It's super easy. And if you like to use stuff up, this is a great way to use an old toilet paper roll that you have. Grab one or two, depending on your particular preference in if you don't mind your colors blending versus if you do. Because if you don't want them to blend, you're going to want to use the different sides. I happen to use 3 different colors here, so I would need 3 different sides, so technically 2 rolls, to be able to do it. I don't worry that much about it. I simply did the gold and pink on one side and the green on the other. It didn't really matter to me. The little roll was soaking wet and had to be tossed by the time it was done because I'm using a wet medium, but I really, really love the effect that it does. And it kind of gives really nice little wonky circles, and which is kind of the effect you can see in the background from the sketch for today. I just love it. So now you should be seeing a photo pop up on the right hand side there underneath the sketch. One day, I have been doing a lot of trying to get things done while I'm being downstairs with the kids while they're playing. Barrett is now in a stage where he can play. I don't have to sit right there with him and make sure he's not doing anything. He can often play with his sister and have fun. So I am trying to do a few things now that I have a minute here and there. And one of those things is I fussy cut out all of these Christmas trees. And as I was doing that, one flipped the way that upside down, and I was like, this looks like a banner. I have a banner layout to do. So I quickly fussy cut them all out, and I was so excited. I really love the way this turned out. So if you have a piece of paper, and this was a really old piece of pattern paper, I think 2013 October afternoon, like it's quite old. One that's been in my stash. I didn't really want to get rid of it because I did like it, but I only have so many layouts about Christmas trees I can do every year. So think about your pattern paper in different ways. What can you do to make it unique and work for you? There are so many different ways to do things if you just look at it just slightly different. I know Missy Wooden just did a layout where she took trees and turned them into leaves. There's so much you can do. So just because something's not working for you, that pattern paper isn't your favorite, maybe it's just not the shape that you want or whatever, see what you can do to manipulate it to make it into something you can do. Now, I went ahead and created my banner. I'm going to stitch in black so that they really pop off, because the colors I chose for my mixed media were chosen because of the colors in the pattern paper and they blend really well, which was my point. But I do want the banners to stick out, so I needed to stitch it in a color that would help you see that, and that's where the black came from. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a final decision on my photos. So I had a few different options. You saw those photos first. That was from an event we went to last year. That wasn't the right color scheme. I also had these photos, which I could have made work. Again, not quite exactly what I wanted. But these 3 photos, which are of Jackson creating a gingerbread house, really worked because of his red shirt, and our house has a lot of warm wood tones to them, which really blended in well with this October afternoon collection here. So I am going to go ahead and use these 3 photos. Now this is a pretty exciting layout to be documenting because it was something that Jackson did kind of by himself. So I'll explain that in a minute. First, I'm going to explain what I'm doing off to the side here. I was really liking everything, the way it was all lined up and all of that. However, I now have my right side, which is stark white, and that was bugging me. So I wanted to add something. I grabbed this candy cane piece of paper. I also believe it is from October afternoon. And so it's got that kind of off-white color tone to it as well. No, I do not care that I blend white and cream or off-white. None of that bothers me. I just do whatever looks good to my eye. But I didn't like it just being on top of it. So what I decided to do is do my little notch that I like to do, and I back it. But I also forgot that I wanted to have a little bit of a line of that pattern paper running across it as well. So when I trimmed it with my trimmer, my notch kind of disappears. So there's this little tiny notch, but I really love the effect that that brings in. And then I look at a few embellishments to pop up here and there, which you're going to see me work on now. So let me go back to these photos. This is a really big deal for Jackson because he created this gingerbread house with a little bit of a help with the construction of it and holding it together while he used the icing to do the next layer. But this was the first time he created it all by himself. He got to decorate it by himself, and I just took pictures. He did it all on his own. And I was so proud of him, and he was so proud of himself. And so it was a really big deal. And I really wanted to highlight this as a layout all on its own and not just in our December daily. So this is why I'm documenting this. And I really wanted to highlight a photo in one way. I thought I would do the one of Jackson all finished, kind of smiling up at me, but it didn't really work. It wasn't the right angle for the frame that I had chosen. So instead I decided to highlight the photo of him actually creating it, because that's the thing, is he's doing this all on his own. It's not the finished product, it's the fact that the process of him doing it all on his own. So I use the frame to highlight that, and then the other two photos I use a little bit of pattern paper along with that gingerbread house little piece of ephemera and a puffy sticker gingerbread that I got from my December daily kit from last year. I expected to have a ton of gingerbread themed stuff in my Christmas stash, and I did not. You only document so much about making gingerbread, so you'd think you'd have a ton. I don't know where it all went, if I've used it or if I passed it on, but I didn't have much. This is really all I had, so I worked with what I had. Really like the way it turned out though. I also had this word fun that was just kind of hanging off on the back of a sheet of washi tape, and I filled in that little gap from that frame perfectly because I didn't want my journaling to be there. I didn't really have anything to say, so just adding that word worked really well. So it kind of goes fun gingerbread house, and then at the very bottom I'm using these little they're not puffy, maybe enamelish kind of feeling, and I write down all by himself. I forgot the word made, so I put that in too. So fun gingerbread house made all by himself is the title of this layout. I love, love, love the way this turned out. It was fun, a little bit different. I just kind of played. I'm going to go ahead and document in my writing about how this was the first time he did it all by himself, and he did such a great job, and he was so proud of himself. He ate it within like 5 minutes of creating it, so it didn't last very long, but he had fun in the process, and that's all that matters. So that basically wraps up this layout for today. Please make sure you head on over and check out Christina and Crystal's takes. And it's Sunday, so make sure you also go over and check out Moira and her take for today, because she is joining us every Sunday this month for my 30 Days of Sketches. And if you play along, I'd love to see what you do. You can either tag me or use the hashtag if you're doing Instagram, 30DSCBL4. You're going to see my close-up in just a minute. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see everyone tomorrow. We are 10 days through. Can you believe it? Oh, a third of the way there. Thanks, everyone. Bye.